Happy Friday, traders. Thanks for joining me today. Sorry about the delay this morning. I'm riding my street bike in and had to stop and assist someone. Unfortunately, it was part of a car versus bike accident. So here I am rushing in back to the markets. Thanks for joining me today. It is Friday, the 9th of July, 2021. This is episode number 2031. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. We're going to make it a quick one today. We have a market that is in a risk-on mode. We see allocation is to risk. We see the Euro stocks and the DAX strong this morning, along with the Russell. The S&P is higher by 17 points and still trading within yesterday's Globex session, but is above yesterday's RTH. So we're opening in a gap to RTH. And we see money coming out of the treasuries. The bonds are down a handle and 4 ticks. And the notes down 12 and a half big ticks. And we also see that that gold and silver are flat. We have a lot of volume this morning, 268,000, which is higher than the mode for volume, on the overnight stat, and the range is also quite large. The range being 42.75 points overnight, 42.75 points, which is higher than the mode of the range. The most common range for the overnight session was just 23 points in the last year, and 39 points being normal, or one standard deviation, one sigma, of 252 days, 252 sessions of overnight stats. So overall, it's looking pretty good for a Friday, for a summer Friday. It looks like we're likely to have some action. Again, the range for the day is 50 points on the S&P. Again, this is the gray box. And then the rotations from this last weekend were 3.5 points, but these have probably expanded. So on the next update, this coming Sunday, when we update these stat figures, historical probabilities, we're looking at rotations probably rising back to 4 points or so. The volatility sigma, the closing volatility sigma, has actually ticked up. So, so that's where we stand. There's some talk of the White House targeting bank mergers. I know bank stocks have been getting hammered. There's still the same issues, the Delta variant, growth and inflation concerns. The only number we have today is 10 a.m. wholesale inventories. This is a medium importance number. Let's take a look at the review segment. Yesterday, the expectation is for an attempt to push higher, and I was looking for it to extend lower. In either case, I had talked about, if we look at the session, the probability of the market pushing the overnight low, which remained at 79.25, which did not take place. So the primary scenario was an attempt higher into 43.05 or so, and a push down to break 79.25 and push lower into the 60s. Second scenario is what ended up working out. The sell-off looked pretty good yesterday. That drop from 42.99 down, which took a little heat there. I took the lower high at 42.98, the lower high in here early. Posted that in the Head Trader channel at Convergent Trading, and it ended up taking some heat before dropping. We traded mostly choppy and sideways through the first hour and a half or so, and then we finally broke to the upside. We broke the initial balance to the upside, and so the targets became, again, 0515 being the mid right here, the full session mid, 15. There's some confluence at 15, and then finally the 20 being the prior session low, and that closed the gap zone. Remember what I said yesterday, that a lot of people are going to talk about, this huge sell-off and how the market's tanking and all that stuff, but actually we have not done all that much, even though we're down 1.6%, 1.7% when we came in. That's not much. We're still pretty close to the all-time highs. And not to get carried away, we want to see if we have a gap and go situation. Remember, I said this yesterday, it applies today. We want to see if it's a gap and go situation or if it's a gap and revert. And we ended up with a gap and revert that closed the gap zone almost to perfection as we came in. The delta was relatively strong yesterday throughout the session, and ended up with a strong burst up on the close. Look at that delta. That delta bursting up on the cash close. On the reopen, we pulled back. The stock zones held up pretty well in the overnight session. We pull back. We pull back to basically the high volume node on the lower distribution. Yesterday was a multi distribution profile. We pulled back on the nose to the high volume node in the lower distribution. Basically, the balance that we had throughout yesterday morning during the trader bite and the first hour or so. We pulled back, we tested it, we found buyers, we moved away, and what we are ending up with here is good volume and then a weak high on what is a pretty blunt profile. This is a price discovery profile here. We don't see balance. It's been chopping around. We've shifted the point of control to 43.30. It was lower just a few minutes ago. 43.25 to 43.30, and we're opening well above the VWAP, well above the mid, above yesterday's high. Relatively bullish. Man, I need to clear my throat. So that's where we stand today. We have good delta in the overnight session. And those are kind of the clues coming into this session. I'm not going to spend much time on this. Everybody's got a composite chart. But yesterday, we ended up pushing the low. We're starting it looks like yesterday we were starting to create one-time framing to the downside, lower high with the break of the prior low. And then today, we are taking out that high. So what we're ending up with is this very clear, choppy balance area with a point of control at 43.10 for the week after quite a messy week last week. So what have we accomplished for the week? We have held on to the all-time high so far. We are not backing off. We didn't test anything major yesterday. We got down to 42.80. Did not bother to test the 64 quarter, which was the next big target down. We pretty much held the 87 point of control from last week, and we have risen. And so now it's likely to, barring news, it is likely to result in a short squeeze. So overall, bears are likely to run for the hills again, and that's what's expected for today. Looking at what our plan is for today, so I can let you all get going with your Friday. Here we go. All right. By the way, if you have not talked to the team at EdgeClear, please go to edgeclear.com. Check it out. Excellent brokers and very competitive pricing. Would love to get your support for this brokerage. It's been running for quite some time and growing thanks to your support. First things first. Again, we're opening in the thin part. Look at this yesterday. Look at that. This is an excess, and we are above that excess, and that's really what we tested yesterday on the rise up to 22. What we tested is the edge of the excess that was left behind in the overnight session and then halted. And then since then, we've pushed to the 43.36 stock zone, dead on. And that stock zone is simply carrying some tops and bottoms and an LVN from a little bit ago. And what we're doing here is holding steady at the top. I expect this to be responsive, a little bit responsive towards the 43.2275. I expect it to find a base, probably will not fill the gap, consolidate at the overnight high, take out the overnight stat, and then start working itself back to the bounce that we had above, that we fell from in the 43.47 area, 43.47 area. That's the magnet today, is this 47, the former all-time high. Remember, we made a high at 47 RTH, 48 in the Globex session, and then we further pushed that to 53 on the ensuing session. So for us, this becomes the target again before we chop around into the weekend. This is a normal weekend. We don't have a long weekend or anything special about this weekend other than the fact that it's a summer, but that's what we're coming into. On the secondary, open auction that pokes through the 43.36, makes an attempt at the 47, does not quite get there, finds the sellers. Sellers come in, take it back to the prior session high, also a stock zone, which is the session before that's low. So we have a high and a low sitting right here. And then the expectation is it might take a dive into the MC point of control and yesterday's point of control at 10. So 10 would be the target below before the bounce. These are the two main ideas. So as always, on a gap up, gap down, gap rules apply. Is it the first and most important question we ask is on the open, do we revert back to the prior auction? In other words, is it responsive, or do we have an initiative move, a gap and go type of situation? We need to see which side actually gets the action on the open, and that's the side we'll trade from until it no longer goes in that direction. Okay. Good luck today. Sorry about the delays. We open in about 2.5 minutes. Good luck. It is Friday. Keep calm. Be aware of your emotions. Don't get too involved with your trades. Never, ever defend a trade. Just set your stops and let it go. The market is full of opportunities, so don't just lose money and lose the next opportunity. Just reset, go for a walk, come back, and hit it again. So follow your plan and watch your risk into the weekend. Good luck.